What's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com, and I'm making this video. It's a little bit off from credit repair, but it does have something to do with credit repair because some of the people that got involved with this, and I'm talking about Bitcoin. If you don't know, today, 5/19, 2021, Bitcoin dropped tremendously. It's under 30, I think it was at 30, $35, 35,000 per coin. It's been as high as in the 60,000, I believe. I don't own any Bitcoin, so this isn't something to try to get people to jump back in it so that it can jump back up again. Uh, my feelings on Bitcoin is that it's gonna, it's just like any other currency over time. Uh, it's gonna it's being able to be used with people buying stuff, but there's some problems that I see with it currently right now, and uh, because no one knows exactly where this started and came from. And the problems that I see with it is that it could be like a pyramid scheme because if you buy it and it collapses, there's nothing that's backing any of it. At least if you have a certain amount of money in a bank account, you have it backed by the Federal Reserve. Even though some people don't believe it, that's even legitimate, but it's legitimate until you can't take your money and go buy something that you want to buy it. uh, then the dollar, that's when you'll know that it's not worth anything. A lot of people throw around that the dollar is not worth, it's like it's worthless, but they go and they buy their dinner and lunch and breakfast and cars and pay their rent or mortgage and pay their credit card bills with that worthless dollar. And everyone does not accept Bitcoin. And if you had one coin today and you were going to go try to buy something with it, even if it was at 60,000, most places would not give you exact value. It's the same as if you had gold and you wanted to go buy something. They're going to give you a value minus. And a lot of people don't know this, that if you go to buy, say you have gold and you you're going to say, I want to go buy this automobile with all of this gold that I have. They will not give you dollar for dollar value. So if you have $100,000 in gold and you want to buy a car for $100,000 and you went to the dealership, they will not give you $100,000. Let you buy the car for trade even swap for $100,000. Reason why is because there's a fluctuation on the amount of gold. From what I've seen, and people might get mad and say that it's not true, but I know that it's true because I have business associates that own We Buy Gold and Silver stores, and I know if you go there, they're gonna discount you a minimum, that's if you're lucky, 20%, a minimum 20%. So that means that your $100,000 in gold value that you believe you have, they're going to only give you $80,000 in value because of the fluctuation. Now, but let me just tell you in something that you may not understand is that the same thing happens with dollars, but we're used to that mindset. Like you can go one day and there's a car for sale for $100,000, and then you go the next day and that car is for sale for $105,000, and that's because the value of the dollar has went down. I had went looking at some vehicles, and I was like, why are some of these vehicles that you would never pay 50, 60, 70,000 dollars for? Why are they at that amount? And everybody's thinking that it's because it's a new car and has more stuff and features and things in there. No, it's because inflation, the value of our money went down. But the thing about it is that we're used to working within that inflation. You're not used to working with, if you have gold and you invested and got gold and then you want to go trade something for it and then they're going to take away that deflated value right away from you when you try to trade it. A lot of people get upset when they had that happen, but that is exactly what happens when you try to do gold, silver, platinum, any of those types of precious metals when you're trying to buy something in exchange for another item. And the same thing will happen to you with Bitcoin. So today, Bitcoin went down, and the reason why I'm kind of relating it to with credit is because I have some associates that actually took loans out to get Bitcoin. They took loans out, and I'm like, don't do that. And they're like, hey, I got to do it because it's going to go up. And then when it goes up, I'm going to pay off those loans. Well, some of them got out when it was high. Some of them didn't get out because they wanted it to go up a little bit more. And now they're stuck with paying those loans back because what's going to happen is they're going to have a call on those. If you borrow money while you're in the stock market, people can borrow on the margin, but they also can make a call on that margin, and you got to come up with that money. And some of the people, not all, some of them didn't have the money set aside for when they made that call, and now they have to sell assets. And if they don't sell those assets right away and pay that money that they owe, they're going to end up having them come after them just like a debt collector comes after people. So be very careful. Now, let me tell you some good news about the market. And I'm not like some type of professional uh, stock trader, but I can tell you from my own account, this is what has happened with my account. Um, Let me get to it here. When COVID hit, my account went down all the way to it shows here a low in January 20, yeah, well, it dipped down from January of 2020, sometime in the middle of the month, had fell down from my trading account. It was at 87, a little under $87,000, had dipped down to $43,060. Now, that was mainly the profit. It was still some profit. If I would have cashed out right at that point, I would have still made money because of the stocks that my wife and I invested in that did really good. But we learned a lesson from some years ago about how the stock market works. And if you calm down and if you can have a temperance to just wait it out, you can have huge gains. Because what I've learned is that when the stock market has what I call like a flushing out, they're flushing out all of the day traders that are borrowing money, they're making them pay up, they're flushing out all of the investors that are not serious investors, and they're also taking their profits because the mutual funds and the different types of hedge funds, they have to at some point cash out on their investments that they have so they can pay their investors that have invested in them. And so you're going to go through what I call a flushing out period. And this is like what Warren Buffett said about, the tide is going to go out to sea, and you're going to see who's in there with no clothes on. And right now, this is what is happening, and this is what had happened. Even though we had the virus, kind of hitting it at that point in 2020, January 2020, it was still going to have that flushing out period because this is just something that happens. So it went dipped down actually under 43. It was like 42,000, and then once the flushing out period uh, stopped, it just increased, like blew up amazingly to over $225,000. So from January 2020 to January of 2021, we peaked out at 225,000 in our investments without adding any money, without investing any money. This was just stocks that had just jumped straight up, and now we're floating in between $189,000 to 190. Like it's been fluctuating. Today we went down in the morning when we started. It was at 191 $192,000, and it went down losses on to 2,000 today. But they're doing another flush. They're flushing out people again. The dip isn't as heavy because they know that, they done a deep flush more than a year ago. This is just the people that are, that don't really have their real money in there. They're either borrowing money and they're making calls on that money, and they're also taking profits from, still taking profits. And they do this where they don't want to hurt the market too much by taking a profit. So they might take, a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, then they let the market jump back up and then they take out some more because they don't want to really hurt the market too much. But what I've seen with how many days that there's been negative and how many days it's been positive, once that is all over, there's going to be a huge jump again that's going to happen. And probably even with Bitcoin, it might be a huge jump, but I'm not going to be jumping into that type of investment. But I think that probably what I'm estimating is that probably 6 months or a year from now, this account here for this particular investment account will be probably about 450,000 to 500,000, and I'm estimating without even adding any uh, additional money in there. I'm just saying off of what we've invested in right now because there's certain uh, stocks that we believe will make huge jumps. There's one is CCL, and that is Carnival Cruise Line. If you just think about it, you don't even have to be smart to even think that this stock at one point was at $75 a share. We bought in at $17. We have over 1,035 shares of this stock right there. And as of today, it's at $27. So already we've made $10,000 on that. But I believe that this one will go back to 75 and it will even jump even higher than 75. My potential with what Carnival has done, I've cruised on Carnival before uh, several times with my family. Actually, did the presidential suite, which is was like I think four or $5,000, and just for that suite for that period of time that we took it. Very nice up, and it looks over the deck. But I think that this stock has potential of hitting about 250 once they go full uh, steam ahead. They're going to start cruising, I think, in July. But one of the things is that when I look at it, it is the middle class to lower middle class. A lot of people can just pay one fee and your ownership. You get free food, free everything, nice place to sleep. And then if you're going like what I was going on that trip to the Bahamas, you get to go to another country and it's just one fee that people pay. So I think that this is going to really jump up. My other stocks that I believe in really heavily is PayPal, which is one that I had bought in at $97 and it's already at $244. Roku, we bought in at $61 and it's at 320. It's been as high as $350. In Square, we bought in at $73 and it's at $200 per share. Uh, Microsoft, we had bought in at $50. It's at $242 a share. And another one that we're taking, kind of a gamble on is Pfizer, which we all know that Pfizer has one of the COVID-19 shots, double shots, and we bought in at 37.53, but that stock has only at the highest made it to $40. So we don't know what that one's going to end up doing. We're hoping and thinking that that one will. But this is like part of the portfolio that we have, and I think that if you're in the market right now, you should just hang tight. Don't listen to all the nonsense because they always have a different excuse for why the market went down. Uh, but if you just think about it, just be logical. If you think logically, stock goes down because of a few reasons. Flushing out people that have to sell, because they had it on margin. They make those margin calls. Hedge funds and mutual fund companies, they need to cash out so they can add to their, pay investors out. That's just logic. It's logic on that. And then there could be certain market moves, but these are really the way. This is really what I think happens. Uh, and I'm not no insider or anything, but if you just think about it, people want to get their money because they want to use their money. People want to get their money because they have to pay investors if they're an investment group. And it all at some point comes, even with Bitcoin, at some point, people selling out shares. Like if people didn't do any selling of their Bitcoin, it, it would just stay the same or it would move up. So something had to flush out, and people who have money in markets at some point will want to sell. At some point, I'm going to want to sell all of my stuff. So just be prepared for those ups and downs, but know that these systems are put in place by people, multi millionaires and billionaires, and they're not going to let something like this collapse. They want to make sure that it's able to keep feeding itself. And the only way for anything to work, business or investment, is that you're going to have some down periods and then you're going to have your up periods. So this is Stephen Williams. I hope you appreciate this video. I just had a little time here and I wanted to make it. If you need any help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. The links are below this video. If you need your credit reports and scores, please go to the number 3scores.com. Those links are below here. And if you have any trouble with debt collection, or debt collectors are coming after you for debts that maybe they can't collect from you from, I have free letters right below this video. The links are all below here. Thank you, and until next time, it's Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you.